broadcast in the last game of the season just how frustrating it was to have this end, but I've had a couple of days of process now with the season meant to you and what lies ahead here for this next year.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a disappointing year when you're packing your bag up before the playoffs. It's disappointing. We took obviously a big step last year in getting there, and we wanted to continue that this year, and it didn't happen. So, I mean, today's just about trying to figure out, and I mean, it's hard to process a couple days after. Usually takes a week or two to start really getting some feelings, but today's just about trying to figure out how we can get back to that.
What have you taken since you got your contract locked down of what this team has to do to get back to the culture it wants to get into the playoffs and beyond beginning this next season?
Well, I think for me, just we got to find that hunger again, that will and that drive to get back there. I think maybe we came into the year thinking things were just going to be the same and easy, and we'll just do this again. And it didn't turn out that way. So, I think you'll see a different team that will come back and try and get back to that point next year.
At these exit interviews last year, you said the teams aren't going to take us lightly anymore. We're going to have to be prepared for that. After 82 games, do you think that happened? And if so, how much did that contribute to the result of the standings?
I mean, we definitely, when you're an organization that's new to the league and you come in year one, you finish whatever it was, 30th, and then last year you make a leap, you're going to gain respect from the teams and you get to the second round. So I would imagine teams weren't taking us lightly. And that being said, this is a tough league, and any given night any team can win. You can't take anyone lightly. But from our standpoint, I mean, you can use excuses about injuries, whatever it may be, but at the end of the day, we didn't get it done, and we need to find a way to get back to that. So, like I said, today is just about trying to figure out in a short period of time, talk about what we saw, what we didn't, and try and get back to where we need to be.
In terms of on-ice play, what are some things that you think can be better next year compared to what happened this year?
Well, I think the obvious one is we need to find a way to score more. Last year, I think we finished first in 5 goals, and this year we were near the bottom. So that was a drastic leap. I mean, goaltending and defensively, we took a big step this year in moving up that way, but we need to find a way to put the puck in the net more. Whether that's individually as a team, whatever it may be, we have to find a way to score more.
Do those go hand in hand, though? Like if you're doing better defensively, does it tend to not breed as many goals and vice versa?
That's a good question. I don't know. I tend to think offense comes from good defensive play. I think this league's big about confidence too. If you're feeling good and confidently as a team and individually confidence, I mean, you're going to make plays, you're going to execute. We just did not do that for the most part of the year. We didn't find a way to score enough and score in big time. So that'll be a big thing for this summer.
Jordan, there were several times this year you guys said some variations of, we didn't play a full 60, we weren't ready out of the gate here. How frustrating was that in retrospect that was such a common theme for you guys as this season played out, and why do you have any sense as to why that might have been?
No, I don't. I mean, the inconsistencies what you're talking about, it's that night to night. Some nights I'd be like, wow, we're playing well, we're good, and the next night I'd be like, where did that go? So we need to find a way to just be more consistent. I don't know if there's a way to fix that in my head right now to figure out how to do that, but I think you're not going to be perfect every night. That's something you're going to make mistakes. Hockey is about mistakes. But as long as you can back those mistakes up with good defensive play and you have teammates to back you up, you can a lot of times overcome that. But we just need to find a way to be executing, and working together as a group more on most nights than not nights.
Curious about a guy that you sat next to this year in the room, Matty. How do you think he took a season like this and how he was able to push through it as well?
Yeah, I mean, this season is never easy on anybody. I think when you feel like you're climbing an uphill battle for most of it, I think Matty, it's never easy coming in after your second year. He's got tougher matchups. Teams are keying on him. But I think as the year went on, he continued to battle and he got better. I think that's a big step for him. I think with Matty, one of the biggest things that sticks out is a lot of guys at that age, they tend to they look at their offensive numbers, and Matty's actually the opposite. He still continues to play well defensively, and works a lot on his game there, and you don't see that a lot at that age, and it's impressive.
Any guys that he reminds you of back when you were younger who you had that same kind of game and that same kind of mentality, who then went on to have a long career?
I can't, to be honest. I know guys that he looks up to are guys like Patrice Bergeron being in Boston. I know that's one guy that I'm sure he'd love to emulate his game after.
You talked about not being able to play together as maybe a reason why inconsistency was an issue. Was there something preventing that ability to play cohesively, like the chemistry or anything like that?
I don't think you can put your finger on one thing. I think for the most part we didn't score enough goals. I mean, and whether that was because we didn't break the puck out smooth enough, because we didn't execute in passes, or we didn't finish. I mean, there's a lot of different areas. So, like I said, that's what today's all about, just trying and get thoughts of guys and put your finger on something.
We often hear that, that there can be a summer of change for every team, depending upon what happens here with this roster. What's something that you want players to be reminded of what it means to play here in Seattle?
Well, I think for me, being here from day one has been a lot of fun. It's been exciting to build an organization from the ground up and be a part of that. I look at year one and then the step we took last year, and I think about how much fun it is to play in the playoffs in that building in front of these fans, and the passion that they bring, not just in hockey, but baseball and football and the sports here. I've really enjoyed that. So for the guys who've had a taste of it, for guys who've had a taste of other, I mean, it's electric here when things are going well, and it's fun to be a part of that. So, I mean, if that's not enough motivation.
In spite of the 5-on-5 scoring woes, you guys were still in it into March. What do you take from that?
Well, I've said this many times. I said this the first year, I said it last year. I mean, the line between winning and losing and making the playoffs and not is quite thin. You look at how many points we finished with, I think, what teams are getting in with, and that's 7 or 8 wins, and that starts to spin your brain about 7 or 8 games of where we could have been in it. So we're not far off, but at the same time, it takes a lot to get over that, and I'm sure that management will look at it and try and figure out what we need to do as players. We need to sit down and what we can do better, and that's how you grow and try and get back over the hump where we need to be.
Cool. Thanks, Abs.
Mm-hmm.